Let's get.
G'day everybody, welcome back to Sketch Biz. My name is Lauren and I am joined by a really great friend and artist, very well known within the Aussie comic scene, is Camillo. I'm not even going to try and attempt to say your last name because I know I'll butcher it. Do you want to say it for people?
I'll say my full name in a proper Italian accent.
Yeah, do it.
Camillo Pietrantonio.
I've got nothing. I'm just like way too ochre for any of that. So yeah, all class for me.
It's a long
anyway. So we've known each other for a while as well. I've kind of got a few guests coming on that we kind of hang out quite a lot at the conventions and stuff like that. You've been in the comic industry for a while now and doing shows. Do you want to give like a little short background lineup of what you've contributed towards and, you know, who you are as an artist and what you like?
Yes, I've been drawing for forever, but I've been in the comic book industry, or I don't say I'm really in the industry yet. I say I'm in the scene, you know, for like the last maybe 11 or 12 years, and I've been like trying to take it seriously for like maybe the last 10. Stuff that people have seen me on, like I've done a bunch of variant covers for the Turtles, like store variants, and there's a bunch of indie covers I've done in Australia, you know. What was the other question? What sort of work do I like?
Yeah, like where are you gravitating towards? Because I know there's people that, like, artists specialize, like, you know, in certain things, whether it's traditional, whatever, sequential work, cover work. What's the goal?
The goal is to do sequentials. Like the goal, that's why I say I'm in the scene but not the industry, because I'm not doing what I want to be doing yet. You know, like I want to draw comic books like sequentials, and I'm not there yet. And I've done covers, and I guess like when you're doing covers and that's pain, you start to like just do more and more covers, and then you never draw sequentials, or no one ever sees them. You know, but so a lot of people maybe don't know that I do sequentials, but I do, and that's what I want to do. That's what I gravitate towards. Like that's the end goal. But we'll see. We'll see if I get there one day. Yeah. Like.
Yeah. You know, I was always told. Dave Yarden told me this, and he was asking me the same thing when I was in Sydney at the time when I was living there, and he said the same thing. Like, what is your goal? And you know, I was like, I want to do covers. You know, because you know that's quite glamorous and it gets a lot of eyes and attention because that's what you first see when you look at an issue. And he flat out was like, you're not going to be doing that unless you know how to do sequentials, or if you've done sequentials, because that's, you know, that's a rock star kind of position to be able to have a cover. And that totally made sense at the time. I feel like it's flipped now. You reckon?
I don't know. You know, like I can see that people who are working on sequentials, like for a monthly title, I noticed that those people, they're not doing covers. So clearly you have to, like, clearly if you're working for a publisher, I think you have to do your time. You have to like sort of establish who you are before they give you a cover. But then there's this whole other side of the industry, which is like these variant covers, you know. There's like the variant cover side of it, and then there's the whole social media side. So I guess if you're really popular online and you can sell a cover just by having the cover, like just by having it be yours from your name, I guess like, yeah, you can make like a cool career out of just doing covers, right? But the covers I've done, they're all store variants. This is like something that people don't understand. And I think a lot of artists, like they might use this like you know, without their fans knowing, they use this in a sort of, you know, in a weird way to sort of like paint their career in a different way. And I always try to make it clear. All these covers I've done, apart from these latest ones I'm doing, but all of them are store exclusives, right? So all the Ninja Turtle stuff I've done, which sounds so good, like Ninja Turtle cover as well, right? They're store exclusives, which are just available at one store in the whole world, you know, and that just comes from a store or a retailer being like, I'll order the minimum amount, and then because I order the minimum amount, the publisher lets me pick an artist, you know? But we're not working directly for a publisher. Like when I do those turtle covers, It's not as if IDW are hitting me up or I'm talking to IDW. I'm just talking to some retailer. I'm just talking to the dude that owns a comic shop, right? And yeah, it's cool because like IDW still have to approve your work, but when the retailer is paying, shit be getting approved. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
everyone's gonna get approved unless it's real bad. Everyone's getting
yeah,
approved, right? And then like, I don't want to like talk shit about myself. A lot of people have done these covers. I'm lucky that some of mine sold really well,
mm,
but most of these covers don't sell well, as good as they are. Like, and it's because the minimum orders are huge and they're only available for one store.
yeah,
So it's different. It's a different side of the industry. Like when you were saying, like, do you think it's flipped? I don't think it's flipped. I just think that there's this whole new side of the industry where you can become a cover artist without really ever working for anybody,
yeah.
and then everyone's thinking like everyone thinks you're the shit because you've done them. You know,
And you're not
I
wrong. You're
almost
not
felt
wrong
bad.
about it being gatekept at all.
Yeah,
Because I remember reaching out to you, being like, how did you get these covers?" And you flat out were like, "That store basically paid their way to get that cover," and just like the honesty about that. And I knew a few different artists who had doing the variants, and asking them like, "Oh, can like you help me get my foot in the door?" And I think you were the only one that actually told me the truth. And then you got
well,
people online just like whinging about the publishers doing 100, 200 different variants for a single issue.
yeah.
People are like, I can't collect that many, but literally it's just for them to make money.
Well, yeah, because like those variants, I remember when the last Ronin ones came out, there was like 80 variants, something like that.
Yeah.
Each one of those are a minimum of 2,000 orders. So 80,000, 80 variants times 2,000.
Mm.
Like you've got your money there. You've made 160,000 sales. You know, just from variants, and that's not sales sold to people. So even like their sales figures are skewed because they're saying they sold like 1 million copies of whatever, but most of them are variants that didn't sell because they're still in stores.
Yeah.
Yeah, to go back to what you were saying about like people not being honest about it, I always try to tell people, and I almost hate when people assume that it's not just working with a retailer because I see a lot of people try to inflate. Like this happens around the conventions that we go to a lot. They get like a small little win and they try to inflate it and make it sound like it's God knows what, right? And then I'm of the opinion that if people think I'm doing work that I haven't achieved, I might not get that work I actually want. Like if people are thinking, oh, Camillo's doing all these covers and he's got the in with IDW or whatever, why the hell would someone hire me to draw their indie cover or something? Like where I can really make some money. Why would anyone hire me? They're gonna think I'm too busy or I'm too good or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's why I think it's like it's never beneficial to lie about this shit or to be dishonest about it. And in the end, it only screws you over. You know, but I had the same thing happen, and like sometimes I was getting questions from people, like, oh, I really want to draw some Ninja Turtles. Do you know an editor I can send some samples to and shit? And I'm like, I don't know anyone. I don't know any editor. I don't know
Yeah.
anybody. You know, like, and I could tell that I'm telling them that, and they don't believe me, even though I'm telling them the truth. Like they think I'm holding back or something. But I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't know anybody. I can give you a name of stores that you can hit up and ask them for work. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of hustle, that one. And yeah, I totally get what you mean when people come along and they're just, yeah, like, you've worked for an IP that is so well known. Like, so why should I think that you don't know someone?
That's
And
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
and if it's anything that people should understand about you is that you don't bullshit, you know?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
No.
So like when going into sequentials and trying to make that sort of pathway for yourself, that brings me over to your creator owned stuff, Wonderverse, which came out 2 years
Yeah.
ago. And that was kind of like an anthology that had
Yeah.
multiple stories in, right? So was that
Yeah.
your basically one trying and you know giving a goal of sequentials, get the words out, Lauren, um, but also like creating almost a portfolio to submit to other people to be like, this is what I can offer.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's exactly what it was. Like it was I had been doing like sequentials in the background just for myself, like just trying to get better. And when I got to the point where I'm like, you know what, I'm not the best, but maybe if I show I can put something together from start to
Mm.
finish and have like a range of different themes in there. Like I had a sci-fi story and a superhero story and a horror story. I'm like, this could serve like a bit of a portfolio, you know?
Mm.
And and like I don't regret kickstarting it and stuff because I made some pretty decent money from it. So when you make money, you don't regret nothing. But I do, I do in a way wish that maybe I don't know, I put some more effort into like this, what stories am I drawing and stuff because it was really, I wrote that all myself and I drew it all myself and not that, not that I thought it was bad, but I really did make it a portfolio piece. And then when I saw like people's reviews of it, the reviews are good, but I'm like, oh, this could be such better reviews if I actually had cared more about it being a story, you know, it could have been a better book. But it did do well, and I'm doing so out of those three stories, I picked the one that I thought readers liked the most, and I'm doing a full issue of that. And I got my friend over in America. He wrote me a story. His name's Dungeon, and so I'm drawing that currently. And like the sequentials I'm doing now are way better than those ones from 2 years ago. So
Well, that's only going to be natural. You've
yeah,
obviously
it
time,
did serve.
but
Okay,
you know,
yeah, it did serve me well. Like I even like took 6 weeks off work to do this whole thing. Like I drew the whole thing in 6 weeks, you know, from start to finish. So I tried to see what I could do with like an amount of time that maybe if I was working would be given to me, you
yeah,
know. Um, so yeah, like I was doing like a page a day and trying to like act like I was working in the industry, you know, like let's see if I can do it.
yeah.
That was the whole point of it.
Did you find it daunting? Like sequentials are a whole new ball game, and they didn't feel typically foreign to me because I'd come from an animation background and knowing how to do storyboarding.
Yeah.
So it kind of was like a natural progression there. But did you find it daunting going from just like a singular static image that you would use for cover art, which is a whole new skill set in itself because you need to try and entice people and cram so much into one image that's going to tell partial of the story, but telling the story in a way that's easy for people to read and follow, that's a whole new skill set again. Did you find it daunting doing it the first time or
Uh,
struggled anywhere?
yeah, like I wouldn't call it daunting. I don't find like a challenge daunting. I actually get
Mm,
excited for it. But so when I first started doing the sequentials, which was years ago, like not I done sequentials that no one's ever seen, you know. So for years I've been doing them. I just found like there was a lot to learn, like so much to learn that every time I do a set of sequentials and get someone to review it, I was like, shit, like there's when am I gonna like be at the point where these pages are actually readable?
mm,
Because it's a completely different art form, you know, like it's a completely different art form. I used to find that I'll draw like a pin-up piece or a cover, and then I'll go to draw a page, and I'm like, why doesn't my skills translate? Like, how come I'm drawing a panel and like now my anatomy is all fucked and my perspective's all fucked? How come I'm so much better on a pin-up or a cover and not on the page? Like, I don't, it was so strange to me, you know, like
yeah,
that. It wouldn't translate at all. Um, and yeah, like as I was saying, every time I did a set, there was something else new to learn. And I think by the time I got to Wonderverse, I was at a good point. And when I showed people like that finished book, I noticed that like the feedback I was getting, like from our other like friends that are working and stuff, who give good advice, I noticed that the feedback was very different. And like instead of having like these huge overarching mistakes in my work of like this page doesn't flow or this isn't consistent or this is wrong. It was more minor things, like
yeah,
oh this panel it's not enough room for speech bubbles, like but yeah, there's so much things to keep in mind when you're drawing sequentials that there's no real way to cheat it.
yeah,
Like with a cover you can cheat it. Like you can pull off a good one-off piece if you really put effort into it. You can do a cool cover even if you're not the most skilled artist yet. With sequentials, like there's no way around it. You
yeah.
have to know, and it's so much to know. You know,
Gotcha.
I
Like,
wish I had that background in like animation or something that could have given me that head start. But yeah,
yeah. Well, I always look up on Pinterest movie storyboards and
Yeah,
especially like Pixar ones. I mean, that's animation, but like just general movie storyboarding and stuff like that. Because a lot of the time you have to show whether it's a mid shot, low shot, wide shot,
yeah,
landscape, whatever. I learn a lot from them. But recently, I always shoot myself in the foot when I'm doing my layouts, and I keep forgetting about the because I'm not a letterer. I keep forgetting about the speech bubbles and
yeah,
any action words, typography type stuff. And
yeah,
by the time I've drawn it all, half the shit's getting covered with fucking speech bubbles, and
yeah,
which is frustrating because I like to make everything look quite detailed and whatever. So
yeah,
that's a new uh, part that I'm trying to be a bit more conscious about as well. So you're not
yeah,
wrong when it comes to like there's actually so much you need to learn, and
yeah,
yeah, how you draw stuff. And I also recently got a little tidbit from another artist was how it flows. Like when you're drawing the panels, like are the actual objects making it flow
yeah,
as well, not just like the way the words are. Like if you're needing the
yeah,
panels to go from left to right, are the characters and the objects actually flowing that way as well, and which
yeah,
direction you want to go? So that's something I'm trying to be conscious of too.
yeah.
Uh,
That was one of the things that I first that was one of the first things I was trying to learn how to do, how to make the page flow without words.
mm,
And I remember I was so bad at it in one of my first sets of pages that I brought to like Supernova with me to show people. I literally had characters pointing to the next panel. You know,
mm,
like I was writing these stories and deliberately putting like characters pointing just so I could get the reader to go to the next panel.
yeah, yeah.
That's how full I was. It was so stupid, but yeah,
Oh, you learnt from it. So
yeah,
it's not
I did, yeah,
stupid. I wouldn't say
yeah.
stupid. I'd just say it's a more just
I was silly,
forcing it.
yeah,
Yeah. So
but yeah, there's so much to be mindful of when drawing these sequentials. Like
mm,
so much in my head at the same time.
check out Bot Nine by. I did an interview recently with Derek Lawfman. Bot Nine
Yeah,
is one of his issues, and it's got no speech bubbles.
that's
And
cool.
so if you want to learn like a really good way to
Yeah,
storytell minus that, definitely look at that one, I would say.
I'll
Um,
check that out. Yeah.
yeah. So what's your sort of plan of attack now? You obviously want to continue on Wonderverse as well, but like any other projects and stuff that you want to keep hustling, because your Instagram is like constantly busy, and I'm so jealous because I have no time to do fucking anything. Um, and like you pump up stuff so quickly. Do you still work a job as well, right?
Yeah, I work 2 days a week at Bunnings.
Yeah, yeah.
So I still got that going.
Hammer barn
It
for
used to,
any Americans
yeah,
tuning in. Yeah.
um, yeah. So I still work 2 days a week there, and I used to work more, but as the art gets busier, I'm able to like work less at Bunnings, and
Mm,
in a way, it's good anyway because it gets me off my ass. You know,
yeah,
otherwise I'm
yeah.
stuck in this chair all day. And going there 2 days a week is pretty fun. But yeah, so next up, like I've got, as I said, I'm gonna do this new issue of the character from my Wonderverse.
Mm,
Then and I'm going back to America this year as well next month for Granite Con. But I'm also doing these covers for Midnight Factory. Midnight Factory is a publisher in America. They do horror comics.
mm-hmm.
Brendan from these comics in Australia, he's opened up a Australia slash Asia arm of the company. So he's going to be a distributor in all of Asia and Australia and New Zealand and stuff. Um, and he's doing his own versions of the books. So after they come out in America, he's doing a Aussie treatment. So they'll have an Aussie cover and like a few little pages and little things extra in there that are just for the Asian slash Australian audience.
Should
So
play into the
I'm doing,
Drop Bear saga.
yeah. But yes, I'm doing covers for him, um, and that's been cool. You know, like I think that's really important, like what Brendan's doing, because it's the first time we're getting American comics in Australia with like Australian versions of them since like back in the 90s we were getting price variants for Marvel. You know, but this is like they're all printed in Australia. You know, so he's creating work here. And I reckon for like any younger artist in Australia that is like thinking, oh, who can I work for? Who like, can I actually get some work in the country? You know, like this is the sort of dude you have to support because this is the company that's giving work to Aussies. And like if Midnight Factory Australia grows, then the amount of people he can hire is just going to get bigger. You
Yeah.
know, um, so that's what I'm doing now. Like a lot of my efforts going into that. And I think I think there's like 4 or 5 covers that I've done that are out, and I've done all up like 7 or 8.
Cool.
So it's been a busy year.
Yeah.
And then yeah, my Instagram's always busy, but I've probably wasted so much time just creating stupid little posts for that thing. But anyway,
Well, but it's so hard because that's kind of the algorithm feeds off that stuff, which, if you want
yeah.
to get more eyes on your work, you kind of
Well,
have to a little bit.
I mean, it's not like it's also that I'm a firm believer that like the industry has changed a lot. Like from when I was a kid and I thought, like, and I was reading like Wizard magazine and being like, oh, this is how you get in,
Mm,
compared to how you can get in now or how you can make a living now, is really different.
mm,
And like, I'm only able to work 2 days a week at Bunnings because of the money I make from social media, not because of the money I actually make from actual work. You
yeah,
know, because doing like 5 or 6 covers a year for Midnight Factories, it's great, but it wouldn't be enough for me to live off. You know,
yeah,
so I need to find other ways to make money. So I use the social media to do it. You know,
yeah.
and yeah, like it could still be better. Like don't get me wrong, but like I put a lot of effort into figuring out that algorithm, and then I also waste a lot of time drawing shit for the algorithm. But yeah, it's just the way it is, you know.
Yeah.
I don't like talking shit about social media because
Oh God, it
I
helps
think
us
it's
so
a tool
much.
that yeah, I think it's a tool that we have to learn, we have to figure out. And like I see a lot of people like they're bitter about it, like oh, it doesn't give me the reach I want, and I've got all these followers but no one sees it, and all this crap. And I'm just like, well, you got to figure it out, like because we didn't have
Recognized.
this tool in the past, you know. Yeah, you know, like back in the day, it was like back in the day for people like us, we could just bring our portfolio to a convention and someone will see it. But now at
Yeah.
these conventions, there's no one there even looking. You know, like that's not how they even find talent anymore. So, you
I
know, we've
think
got
that
to
was the
figure it out.
guy who was the publishers. They came to one of the shows in Sydney, I think it was. And I was having a chat with
Yeah,
him. It's like what would like how do I get more eyes on my work? Like do we send you a
yeah,
portfolio? Like what do you want? And he's like, I honestly don't know. It's like I don't know anymore. He was honest. It was just honest. He's like, I don't like some of the people that would get chosen are basically just because they're so popular and the traction that they make on social media. So it does work.
yeah.
It's
It does.
I think
It definitely does.
there's no rule anymore in terms of like trying to get your work submitted to anywhere. I mean, they still got the options online, but really, it's all word of mouth these days.
Yeah, exactly. And like
Mm.
a few years ago, like during the COVID break, Um, that's where I really sat down, buckled down, and like learnt the algorithm and figured it out. So my Instagram was peaking back then, and during that time, I had Nickelodeon hit me up to do. It was a small piece, like a small little social media piece that they paid me for, right?
Yeah.
But we had to have like a little talk online about it on Zoom meetings, and I asked them, I'm like, how did you find me? And they had printed out a stack of my Instagram stats.
Wow.
And they're like, your posts on your Instagram are currently doing better than our posts on our official Ninja Turtle page.
Damn.
And I'm like, and all you want to do is give me one little gig to do one little post? Like, come on, man, give me more. But yeah, it's that,
Yeah.
it's
I'm
how it
better than
goes.
you.
Like,
Come on.
yeah, you know, it's how it goes. Like, that's the social media is important because for them, I guess that's like free advertisement. You know,
Yeah. Well,
I always think about it.
that Spider-Man 2 job was through social
Yeah,
media as well.
yeah. So
Mm,
it does work. But I'm more of the it's not so much that I want to attract the attention of the big publishers through social media, because I still think that's hard to do. Right? I
mm,
think that comes with like maybe you got to like network a little bit as well, you know. But I think just making money off like your fans, you know, with a good social media, you can really like establish a good little like a little pocket of money that's coming in consistently. You know, like it's like that. What do you call it? I saw this dude. He was talking about like 1,000 real fans. If you have 1,000 real fans, they give you $100 a year, like you're
Yeah.
made. You
Yeah.
know, so that's what I'd like to achieve, something like that.
Hell yeah.
Because I don't want to be dependent on these companies. Because I've realized like it might never happen. Like it might never. I might never become good enough to work for Marvel. And by the time I do become good enough, my life might be so different that I don't have the time for it.
Yeah.
So I've got to figure out a way to like make this money beforehand.
Yeah. That's one thing that I've always admired about you is not only your hustle but your ability to be able to connect with people and strive to continue to make new connections, whether it's even in Australia or not. Like some of the stuff that you've made, it's gotten you over, like you said, to GraniteCon.
Yeah.
And as obviously with San Diego Comic Con that was on over the weekend, you're seeing like all these people going across and meeting up, and
Yeah.
like that's a goal in itself, is to be able to get to that point. What's it like over in the States, like compared to Australia? Like you've done obviously shows here, but in terms of the ones over there, do you find that there's a huge difference?
I find there is huge difference,
Mm,
particularly with the one that I went to. So I think like GraniteCon isn't as big as like San Diego or New York or anything like that. It's probably very comparable to like Supernova here.
okay.
I wouldn't even say it's one of the bigger supernovas, like maybe one of the smaller ones. But it goes for 3 days, and then you have like the whole contingent of turtle fans that go there. So it's very like focused on the turtles, just because of where it is. Um, but culturally, it's so different to our conventions. So like, I always tell people like the most common question I get here is, "Oh, did you draw this?" Like people will come to your table, "Did you draw this?"
No,
It's like,
I
yeah.
didn't.
Who else if you draw them? I'm sitting behind here. But in America, no one asks that.
You'll
And in
be literally
America, there's
drawing
no,
like a sketch cover behind the table. Oh, are you drawing that?
yeah,
No.
yeah. It always
Mm,
happens here. But in America, nah, in America, like the average con goer, they
mm,
know that the people behind the tables are artists, and they know that there's artists that have made it and are working in the industry, and artists that are like not there yet. They know everything, and you
yeah.
can't bullshit them. You cannot bullshit them. So if you lie over there, they figure it out. That's why I love it, because I'm
Yeah.
like all the shit that goes on here, and like not to like talk shit about our conventions or about the people here, but it's just the culture is very different. So
Mm,
like I find it easier to make friends over there, because everyone's a little bit more honest and open about what they want to do and what they want to achieve, and then you can actually be friends with someone and help each other out, as opposed to like having someone here be like, oh, I'm already working for this person or that person, or how are we going to help each other out if you're lying to me. Like
yeah.
you just can't. And yeah, then there's like the whole thing of like the actual con goers there. They're more appreciative of art. Like I remember the first time I went to Granite in 2023, I brought all these prints with me. I couldn't give those prints away. No one
Yeah.
wanted
Wow.
prints. They all wanted original art. You know, I reckon that's cool. Because I don't particularly want to travel to all these cons with all this like all these prints. And like I don't want to be dealing with that. So
Yeah.
it was really refreshing to see people just come and ask for commissions or buy up my original art, and even
Yeah.
even like my creator owned comic, like the Wonderverse, like it flew off my table. Whereas here it's a hard sell because people want the turtle stuff or they want a big name thing. Over there, like they're willing to give a book a chance. It was crazy. Like I had so many people from that con contribute to my Kickstarter. And I'm looking around on the floor. I'm seeing people wearing my Wonderverse T-shirt in the crowd.
Oh, hell yeah.
That would never happen here. Like
No.
really, it wouldn't. It'd be so hard to have that happen here. I'm not saying it doesn't. It does happen for people, but it'd be really hard. Like it's a hard sell in Australia.
Do you
You
think it's
know?
because we, as Australians, and Australia as a country, like as like I even see it from state to state here, we're
Yeah,
so deprived of all those IPs and stuff. Like that kind of stuff just isn't regular here. Do you think that's why people, when they go to these shows, that they're just like so thirsty for seeing all their favorite characters, they're just not willing to give any of the new stuff a go because they're uncomfortable because
yeah.
they
I don't
don't
know.
know
Like
it.
I always think about that. I always think about that. I think about like maybe it should be the opposite. Maybe because we don't get much stuff here, or as much as America. We should be like celebrating the Australian created stuff a bit more, you know. And then I think maybe it's just a population difference. Like we're smaller in population. It's just a ratio game, you know, because like there are people here and there are like Aussie books that do really well and people love them, you know. And like I know I had a few like backers of my Kickstarter that back every Australian book and like really love the Aussie stuff.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just maybe it's just a population thing where if we had more people, you'd see more success. I don't know, but I do think that there's like a little bit of a, you know, like there's a tall poppy syndrome here. You know, I think, whereas like you might not want to give an Aussie thing a chance because maybe you're a bit jealous that someone else done it before you. You know,
Yeah.
I tend to think that that's very true. You know, when it comes to a lot of things here, maybe maybe I'm talking shit. Maybe like I'm wrong, but I feel
Personal
that. You know,
experience.
I feel that shit. You know, I feel that stuff, man. You know, you were saying that like I'm good at. I've been good at like networking and making these friends overseas and stuff. And I think I am particularly well at making friends and networking, right? And I think that comes from somewhere. I think that comes
The
from my
Italian blood.
background. It comes from that. But it comes from where I've grown up here as well. Like it comes from like me growing up in Western Sydney and the people I've dealt with and things I've done in my life. It all comes from that, right? And I think that that's not something that's really celebrated here.
Yeah.
You know, so I think I've felt it, man. Like I've felt it. I've been to conventions where people have asked me, "What's that accent?" You know, are you South African? I'm like, man, do I fucking sound South African to you? You know, like like, and this is just like this. It's clearly just people trying to make a point of the way I sound or the way I've dressed or whatever,
Yeah.
without making that point. You know, so I think that does happen here, whereas in America that doesn't happen. You know,
No.
in Australia, like I get the question a lot: what nationality are you? In America, I'm an Aussie artist.
Yeah.
You know, and that's crazy to me. You know,
Yeah.
it's crazy that I was able to go to America and I was flown there, and then in Australia, like I'm not even going out of state. You know, it's like
Yeah.
I know I could if I wanted to, but like my point of difference is that like in America they're willing to take that chance on me. You know,
Yeah.
like in America, there's someone out there in America willing to invest in me, whereas here there's not, and you wonder why.
Yeah. I think I don't even know if they want to invest here at all. Like, I don't even know if they do invest in people. Like, they invite or whatever. Like, and they focus too much on, like, I don't know,
Maybe investors
actors.
are bad. Yeah,
Well, no,
maybe
but no, that
investors are
does
bad.
make sense. It does make sense because they're getting you over. They want you there, and they want your value. They want your skills. They want your art over there. Um, and I don't know. Yeah, I don't see it. But the thing is that they're backing you, whereas, yeah, like you said, it's just not here. And I don't know if we've got the
Like,
capacity for it.
yeah, well, maybe not, but like over there, like so the way I got to America was I have an artist rep there, right?
Mm,
So this he's ended up becoming one of my best friends. His name's Randy,
yeah.
but one of these stores that I was doing covers for, they went out of business, and I really wanted to do some more work, so I hit this guy up, and I'm like, if your store's out of business, any other people that have stores that are willing to do covers, right? And he was like, "No, I don't, but I have a friend called Randy, and he might be able to help you." So at the time, Randy he put together like a commission list for me. You
Mm,
know, he has like a database of like collectors that he knows. So he showed them my art, and he's like, anyone wants a commission from this guy, I'm sort of like organizing a commission list. So he done a commission list for me, and then from that commission list we became friends, and he liked my stuff and my work ethic and stuff, and he's like, let me rep you, and he also reps Matteo Santaluca.
oh yeah.
So I was like, yeah, cool, and he's the one that gets me to America. So it's not as if like I'm guest at GraniteCon, but I'm a guest via Randy and Randy's company that sponsors the convention.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, and that stuff, I don't see that stuff really happening here. You know, like I don't see anybody like scoping the area for talent and being like,
No.
maybe if I
What?
help this person go like rise, maybe like some of his success can be mine too. You know,
Yeah.
that's what Randy does. Like Randy represents me, he represents Santa Luca. There's a few other American artists that he represents, and we're all at different levels of our career. You know, like
Yeah.
there's some big names and then some small names and stuff, but he's looked at these people and said, you know what, I see something in them. You know, I see something in them. I can bring them somewhere. I can help them. You know, whereas here that doesn't happen.
Well,
You
you're
know,
not wrong. Like
no one's even.
I've been looking at like getting an agent. Every time I
Yeah,
jump in and I jump online, I got no idea where to go because I would like to keep it within Australia, but it's
yeah,
just like I got nothing. And it
yeah,
would be really good to have an overseas one as well. So it's just like what you got to weigh up those options. But like, who's gonna? I don't know whether it's like maybe I'm talking myself down. I don't know, but who's gonna rep someone who's all the way where I am? Like
yeah.
if unless they just take
Well, I
my
mean,
work to shows.
I don't think I think if you're good, you know, but I think I was also lucky.
Mm,
You know, I was really lucky because that's the thing. Like it's all relationships. You know, it's all like this dude from this store that I done work for. Then he put me in contact with Randy. And I'll tell you what else, Randy. Like this is like such a like a coincidence, right? So years before that, the guy I was doing work for that owned the comic shop, he wanted to buy a piece from me
mm.
that he wanted to sell in a charity auction, right? When I found out it was for charity, I'm like, don't worry about buying it. I'll just send it to you, all
Yeah,
right?
it'd be the same.
And I gave it to him, right? Yeah, so I gave it to him. Anyway, when I met Randy, I was introduced to Randy online and we spoke. We had like a video call, and he's like, "By the way, is this yours?" And he pointed to the piece that I donated to that charity. He bought it.
Oh,
So you know, and like that was a. Like, I was like, "This is so cool, man!" Like, if I didn't do that nice thing years ago, Randy wouldn't have that piece. You
mm.
know, so he bought it from that charity auction, and then that was like a little bit of a, you know, I think that was like a way of a sign for him as well to be like, yeah, you know what, I'll let's do business
I'm gonna
together
back this
because
guy. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, you know, and
But you're
and
right.
people
You're
don't realize
right.
that there's relation.
Yeah, you're right in saying that. I've always been a big, put good out and the good comes back. Like not to sound too, fluffy. Uh, it has worked. Like just doing the positive things and helping other people out and supporting and that kind of stuff. It does come back in huge ways, and
Yeah,
it's just it's so disheartening when you see people just doing the dirty half the time, and it does backfire eventually.
yeah, it does. I've had I've had bad experiences too, where like the networking and the friends have gone wrong,
Mm,
but I think, like you said, in the end, like it in the end, it backfires, and I think it's easy for us to like it's easy for us to get caught up in like focusing on those negatives a lot. You
yeah,
know, I find myself like that happens to me, and it's not because like I can't get over it or it eats me up, but it's just because like I want to get it, I want to make it so badly
yeah,
that it irks me. You know what I mean? I see it like an injustice. Like if only
yeah,
the people knew, if only the broader public knew what it was like, and like you know, and like just last night I was talking to someone, and I'm like, we draw, and people only see like 10% of what we actually work on,
yeah,
you know, and the rest no one sees. And like I find that as well, you know, that like a lot of our peers, like and this is my experience anyway, but like they might almost, you know, belittle your achievements sometimes, and it's because they don't realize how hard you work. And like
yeah,
I've had people, I've gotten like little cover gigs or whatever, and then had people from Australia that I know in real life go to these people that I've done work for and be like, "Oh, I'm Camillo's friend. Can I get something too?" You know? And I'm like, "Well,
yeah,
why couldn't you just ask me? And did you think it was that easy for me?" You know, and
yeah,
that's why I think like sometimes we focus on it too much, but it's only because like we care a little bit too much, you know, and we're trying so hard that when someone just like comes along and is like, "Oh, it must have been so easy for them. I'll just ask the same person for a gig, you know.
Yeah.
It's like that. I didn't just ask, you know. Like I cheat. I sort of earned it somehow, you know. And it's because people don't see the grind behind it. They don't see like us at our table drawing hours on end, like just to get
Mm.
better, you know.
Mm. Yeah. And the online networking, like you said, going back again, but that was the
Yeah,
work that you did, was to create that connection and to get the job. And so for
yeah,
someone to
exactly.
come on the tail end and stomp all over your shit and just be like, well, if you gave him one, you can give me one. I'm not.
Yeah,
Yeah, shouldn't be
yeah.
proud of that. Yeah. So anyway, do you want to do more Australian shows, or do you want to start focusing just on the states and stuff? Because it sounds like they're much better shows, whether they be profitable or not. Because obviously, it'd be more expensive for us to go. But you were
Yeah,
invited, obviously. But
yeah,
if you wanted to do other ones,
yeah. So I was lucky. The first time I went, they covered half my expenses,
mm,
and then the second time they went, like last year, they covered all my expenses, which will be the same for this year. But yeah, like they're definitely worth it, right? But like then you have to factor in as well. Like I'm going all the way to the other side of the world. It's a pain in the ass, man. Like I don't know how many years in a row I can do it
yeah,
before I'm just exhausted because it tires you out. And like already for this year, I'm like, man, I got to sit on that plane for another 20 hours, you know.
yeah.
And but yeah, I'd love to do more Australian shows. And like this year, I this year specifically, I asked to do as many as I can, you
Mm,
know. But I was only given Sydney.
yeah,
So and like you know how it goes here, like they're not gonna unless you're at a certain level, they're not gonna like cover your expenses going places, which is fair enough. But I'm happy to. I was happy to cover them myself. Um, but yeah, like they were, Sydney was the only one available,
I
and
feel
it
like
is
they
what it
might
is.
need
But
to curate this a little bit more, whether it's a panel or something like that. And um, the team that we deal with now, like they know their stuff, right? They collect, they do all that. But whether, because I don't know, the artist alley is just a lot of like trinkets and like just being broader about guests and not just guests and whatever, but making more space for actual comic creators, because none of this shit would exist without the people who wrote and drew it.
yeah,
So it's a bit backwards at the moment. Like there's enough keychains fucking everywhere. I don't know.
yeah.
It's all a bit mishmash.
I guess it's like they want to make money as well, and those people are willing to pay.
Mm,
And, like I did all the like Aussie cons for a long time out of my own pocket, and
yeah,
that's the other thing. Like this sounds so shit of me to say, but like sometimes you don't want to take a step backwards. Like I know I should probably be like, you know what, you need to make money, you need to do shit. Like just pay for a table,
yeah,
just who cares if you're a guest or not? Just pay for a table and like just go. And then like maybe I'm a bit of a dickhead myself because I'm like I don't want to do that. I don't. I want to be a guest. But I'm not going to
yeah.
beg. I'm not going to use. I'm not going to like manipulate the show and be like, oh, you know what? Like, I'll buy this if you let me do this, or I'll do this if you let me do that. So like,
Mm.
you either want me or you don't want me, and like all I can do is really like show you what I've been doing to
And be
like sort of
comfortable with
like
that,
make my case. Like I want to make my case like this is why I deserve it. You
Yeah.
know. Um, so I know that like I probably could get more shows. Number one, if I was just willing to pay for my own table and not be a guest, but also if I was just like, you know what, maybe we'll make a deal. Like, give me that extra table and I'll and make me a guest, but I'll pay for the extra table or something like that.
Yeah.
But I don't want to do that stuff. There's other shows I've done. Like I've done geek markets this year.
Yeah.
And I'm doing them every year, and they're great. Like they're awesome. Um, they're awesome, but I still wanted to do more. Like there's 4 geek markets a year, and I really wanted to do as many shows as I could this year. But it is what it is, right? Um,
Yeah. I feel like we need something more. I honestly feel like Comic Con's given up a little bit. Um, the 2 shows that I've done here, and I'm so thankful that I was invited to go to those ones, and it's great to network. But it was kind of like an afterthought almost, which was slightly disappointing. But the team's lovely, but it just, I don't know if we've got like a well-rounded show other than Supernova, and we need more of those little ones popping up
I mean,
and
yeah, like,
gaining traction.
I was doing ComicCon for a while as well,
Mm,
and like it, they haven't come calling for like the last 2 years, which is it's fine,
mm,
it's fine. But like you said, you know, I always wonder. I'm like, well, like, what do you really care about? Who do you really care about? How do you want the convention to seem to the outside people? Like, do you want it to look like a comic convention? Do you want it to look like a pop culture thing, or what?
yeah,
And then like there's the other thing as well that you can't have the same people there every show, and I get that. I get that. Like, you don't want to have the same people there all the time. Um, and I'm a firm believer, like, you earn the show. If you're good enough and you
yeah,
earn it, like, you can be a guest or whatever. But if you're not, fair enough. And maybe some of the organisers at the shows think that I don't deserve it, which is fine. It's fine. But yeah, I'm not. I just don't want to go backwards. It's a full ego thing. Like, I don't want to go backwards and be like,
yeah.
I'll pay for my
That's fair
table like I
enough.
used to and sit out of Sally. It's probably so shit of me to be like that, but it just is what it is. Like,
Yeah,
the way I see it is like we have like a personal brand to, like, uphold as well, and
yeah,
like, I don't think you should bullshit to create that brand. But if I'm a guest in America, like, I don't know, I can't bring myself to go backwards here. You know, I probably don't even deserve America. Like, let's be honest. Like, I'm very lucky to even have that. Like, I
oh,
don't
you
have
got
this
it for a
huge body.
reason.
I got it for a reason, but like, I understand that I'm very fortunate.
Mm,
Like, I get to sit next to people that I have no business sitting next to, and it's because there's people out there that were nice enough to believe in me. So, but yeah, like, hopefully one day it changes. Hopefully one day I can sit next to these people and be like, yeah, now I'm fully deserving.
yeah,
But
yeah, I get that.
but yeah, like, I wish there was like more shows that were open to um to making people like us guests. Um, but yeah, in saying that, like, we're lucky as well, because like, the thing is, Supernova, that was like the first show I was doing, you
Mm,
know, and I'll be honest, I asked them to be a guest. So when I did my first Ninja Turtle cover, I just asked them. I'm like,
yeah,
oh, look, I've done this cover and it coincides with the year that you're having Kevin Eastman here. Like, I've been doing your show for the last 8 years. I'd
yeah,
love to be a guest. These were the only ones that, like, this was the only show that was nice enough to say, you know what, thanks for your support. Yeah, we'll make you a guest.
yeah. Cool.
Because, like, you've given to us, we'll give you back. Right? So it starts to become easy. Like, it sounds like we're talking shit about them or we're not grateful. That's not the case at all.
No,
Like, at least they have me at Sydney, and when they can have me, they'll have me, right? But what I'm talking about is a broader theme with the cons, where it's
yeah,
like, what's happening with them, like, like you said, Oz Comic Con. I don't know. That, to me, it seems like the comics don't even matter.
no, yeah.
Like, I
Even though
know
it's in
people.
the actual name of the bloody
Yeah,
fucking show.
I know people that, like, are just applying for a table in Artist Alley, and they're indie creators, and they can't get an opportunity to pay for a table. And it's like,
No,
if it's Oz Comic Con and this dude's making comics, shouldn't he at least be able to pay for his table and be there? As opposed to,
I'm getting a
like,
rejection.
yeah, or as opposed to letting, like, the keychain store be there and
Yeah,
stuff like that. Surely, like, surely you should be like, this guy's making comic books. Let's give him a shot. You
mm,
know, that's not even about being a guest. That's just like, give him a shot to pay for his
just
own
yeah,
table.
just even
You
getting
know,
accepted. Yeah,
yeah. So I don't know.
yeah, it's odd.
I
That's
I, I,
that's why I
I don't
don't
know.
typically
Yeah,
chase the cons anymore. Like the cons aren't the be all and end all for me now. Like I've taken a step back from that, and that's why I've only done what 3 shows this year. I just only travelled for one, and the other two were here in my hometown. I just was one. I was slightly burnt out from the chaos from the previous year, but I'd rather make work. I'd rather make some more online connections and doing this kind
yeah,
of stuff like podcasts, whatever. Creating my
yeah,
own comic. like that's I want to put my energy there instead of just trying to force that kind of stuff.
I think it's more important to be able to be one of the few artists that can come home from a convention and make
Mm,
money on the Monday after the con. You
yeah,
know, that's what I want to be. The cons are great because like they're 2 busy days of like nice like income. The cash just flows in. There's people throwing money at you, and it's cool.
yeah,
But I want to be the dude that doesn't need that. I want to be the dude that on Monday, the day after the convention,
the
I can
emails
stay
come.
home and still make money.
Yeah,
And I don't think a lot of the people that do all the shows can say that. You know, I don't think a lot of them are even worried about that. But what if the shows go away? You know, what
yeah,
if like there's another pandemic or something and there's no shows for a while? Like what happens then? You know,
yeah. I mentioned to
so
someone
they
else
can't.
before, was like I was starting to go down that print jockey um
Yeah,
like way of just I'm going to do lots of different prints and stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that. That makes a lot of money, and I know we know a couple of guys who just like smash
yeah,
that. But it felt like it wasn't right for me, so that's why like I don't really focus on the prints and stuff anymore, and I just want to create more product in regards to like
yeah,
actual comics.
yeah. I mean, like you got to do it. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do to make money. I
Mm,
just don't want to do it, and I don't want to like, do it and like sell my soul for it. You know, so like it, I want to be able to sell those originals and actually do proper
mm,
work. So if I go to a convention and all I have is prints, that's what I'm going to be known for. You know, like that's how I'm
yeah.
presenting myself to the world. And I'd rather make like a little bit less money, but present in a different way. You know, but yeah, it all depends
And
on
like
what
you
you
said,
want
if
because we
those
know people that
conventions
do.
disappear, like they
Yeah,
got nothing. You wouldn't have anything to be able to
exactly,
sell.
exactly.
Yeah.
You know, so but yeah, it
As
is
much
what it
as
is.
the like making comics and art and stuff is like a passion and stuff, it's yeah, you still really do need to think about the income side of things, and it just takes a little bit, like a tiny bit of the joy out of it. But it's just yeah, unfortunate
It
side of it.
definitely, it definitely squeezes joy out of it. But
Mm,
like it is, man. Like, it is what it is. Like I've been doing all these social media posts and stuff, and some of that stuff, most of that stuff I put on social media, I draw just for Instagram. Like they're
yeah.
little drawings I can do in like an hour or two, and I've done them just for Instagram. And then I'll try to be clever and like monetize them by making a print or putting them in a sketchbook or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's just to get eyes on my Instagram, and then hopefully bring eyes to my stall and eyes to my Patreon or whatever, you know. Uh, and I probably gotta stop doing that because I wasted the whole freaking year this year. I wasted so much time this year on that crap, you know. Like I could have had my
I,
comic already finished, and
yeah.
I get caught up in it. I get caught up in being like, oh, let me do something else for Instagram and let me keep this trend going, and it seems to be going good, and I'm getting engagement,
It's also that
and
little
I'm just like,
dopamine hit you get too. You're like, yeah,
yeah,
that one went well. Like, yeah.
yeah, and I guess like it's still good because I'm still drawing, so I'm getting better, like I'm improving,
Mm,
but yeah, there's like a balance you have to find to do all this shit and try to leverage it to make money and also try and get better and like break in, you know?
yeah. Yeah. And you obviously want to
But
get to
yeah,
the point where you just do this full time, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
So
anyway. Well, we've nearly hit the 1 hour mark, which is kind of where we want to sit. Can you want to give like a little? Obviously, I'll put this all down in the comments for people to find where to get all your stuff. But if you want to give a little shout out for yourself and where can we find you?
yeah, you can find me on Instagram at instacam underscore ILLO or Facebook at Camillo Art, and yeah, that's where you can find me and keep an eye on my stuff. And I'll be at I'll be at CollectorCon in August. Collector Fest, sorry, not CollectorCon. CollectorCon something different. Collect
Okay.
Fest
Yeah. Where's
in
that?
August.
In Sydney?
It's in Sydney. Yep,
Yep.
at the ICC. I'll be at the D's Comics booth with the Midnight Factory Comics. And then I'll be at Geek Markets Wollongong in October, I think. And then there's another Geek Markets Canberra in December. And then I'll be at Granite in America, in New Hampshire. Um, And yeah, I should have the ash can for my next creator owned book out
Hell yeah.
in time for banner as well. That's September, so that should be coming soon. And yeah,
Busy
that's
boy.
the stuff. Yeah,
That's
I
good.
should be busier.
Yeah, that's sick. Well, I can't wait to see what's happening with you over the next couple of months, and hopefully we can catch up again
Yeah,
later down the track once you've done that, and we can touch base about your trip and stuff. So, but yeah, otherwise, thank you so much for jumping on, and yeah, we'll upload this, and yeah, we'll share when we can.
yeah. Thank you.
No problem. Bye.
Bye.